Darling, after 10 years, the only thing I'd change about you is your clothes.
Bugle boy.
Why don't you try this one on first?
These 91s are here to remind you McDonald's McLean Deluxe is 91% fat-free.
No, we're not.
But you're all 91s.
Brain surgeon?
Not.
We're here because McLean Deluxe is 100% delicious.
With a Diet Coke, it even satisfies Big Jeff Right. Right?
Right.
Right. It's 100% delicious, so why 91s? Then again, why not? The unforgettable taste of McLean Deluxe at McDonald's today.
Citizen ProMaster Diver's Chronograph, digital depth sensor, elapsed dive time alarm.
So, exactly how long have you been a diver?
Citizen ProMaster, for professional use only.
Little housekeeping being done to Benny Blades, and Randy, this is the time of year when everyone has to play with nicks, bruises, and bumps.
And it doesn't help when you're already banged up and you come into a game and you get bruised ribs like Benny Blades did. You know, originally from the bench they said it was a bruised rib. It is impossible. You can't bruise just one. I mean, they're too small, they're too tight of an area. You got to bruise a bunch of them if you do one.
I like the expression you just gave me during the commercial break.
Kind of like the potato chips, you can't just have one. That's true.
3rd and 2. Play action. Incomplete, thrown in the direction of DJ Dozier. Will bring up a 4th down punting situation for the Lions. As Jim Arnold comes on.
You know, Wayne Fonz's options were pretty limited right there. Once he came back, Kramer came back and showed it was a pass, he was only really going to throw it to either Dozier or Barry Sanders. The 2 offensive linemen that were in the tight end, they're not going to throw it to the offensive lineman. The one tight end that they have in there, Tennell, they hardly ever, I mean, even in practice, they don't throw him passes. So you know that in that situation, they had to go to one of the 2 backs, and they had both of them covered easily.
So the tight ends would have been surprised as well, huh? Arnold. Leo Lewis signaling for the fair catch, and does so at the 15. Coming your way this Thursday, a Thanksgiving day of NFL action starting at 12 noon with a special edition of the NFL Today. We'll profile Bears quarterback Jim Harbaugh, an emerging leader on and off the field. And Pat O'Brien will take us around the NFL to meet some players who care and who are making a difference in their communities. Then it's game time with Chicago taking on Detroit in an important NFC matchup with playoff implications. That's all coming your way Thanksgiving Day. Take a look at Jerry Burns.
People wonder why Detroit plays so good on Thanksgiving Day. It's really simple. As Wayne Fonz told us yesterday, it's our only chance for respect.
Herschel Walker running with authority and getting some respect on that run for the 1st down. Finally tackled by Melvin Jenkins. Herschel Walker with a power run that time.
Now Herschel's going to take this ball and head this way. Watch the pursuit of the Lions defense. Watch how many of these guys get put on the ground. There's one, Hayworth's down, Spielman's down, White is down. Good job by the Minnesota Vikings offense, getting that ball to Herschel.
Herschel Walker thus far, 5 carries for 25 yards, 6:18 left in a half. Vikings trail 7-zip. 1st and 10 from the 27. Steve Jordan in motion. This is Alfred Anderson, the fullback, and he's driven back. Jerry Ball along with George Jameson on the tackle.
Jerry Ball says, you can try that running stuff outside. Don't come in here. And Minnesota struggling early. I mean, early they're struggling when they're punting. Then they're just bumbling the last 2 possessions with 2 fumbles.
And part of that early struggle may well be traced to the fact that neither Anthony Carter or Chris Carter have any catches. Three wides. Alfred Anderson, the lone back. 2nd and 9. Thrown in the direction of Anthony Carter. Beyond his outstretched hands, Melvin Jenkins, the right corner on the coverage.
And a good job by Tracy Hayworth getting in there and knocking Gannon down and distracting him from that throw.
Live here at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. And indeed, this is a crucial NFC Central Division matchup between the Lions and the Vikings. Lions on top 7-zip. Minnesota with a record of 6-6. Detroit with a record of 7-4. Lions have won more than 7 games only 3 times in the past 20 years.
Minnesota's got playoffs on their mind. Detroit's got catching Chicago in the Super Bowl on their mind.
Minnesota has first down in mind here on the 3rd and 9. Let's see if Nelson can do it. And he gets up for the first down. Good second effort by Darrin Nelson.
And Nelson's a player that gives these Detroit Lions a hard time, gives them a little trouble, especially the way Minnesota uses them. They have Herschel Walker, they have Terry Allen, and suddenly now you pop in a Darrin Nelson at running back and you run a little screen off to the right-hand side. He's got a totally different running style. He's more of a sharp darter, more of a hitter. Herschel kind of glides. Terry Allen attacks. Darrin Nelson just kind of goes where they ain't.
3 catches for 27 yards. 1st and 10. Herschel Walker to the top of your screen. Wide receiver. And this is Allen. And Allen stumbles, and that stumble cost him as he ran into Anthony Bell. Gain of only 1 on the play. Well, Randy, you talked about the various change-ups, if you will, that Jerry Burns has at his disposal in the backfield, and they've got some excellent wide receivers. What's been the difficulty getting cranked up for the Vikings over the years?
It's hard to say. I think, to be honest with you, Carl Lee said it best. Accountability is the key word. Now, whether you're a Pro Bowler, an All-Pro, a coach, a backup, on injured reserve, you got to be accountable for your actions. If they're good, you'll be praised. If you're bad, you should be ripped.
On 2nd and 9, Gannon throws it complete to Carter, Anthony Carter, and he steps out of bounds across the first down marker. So first down for the Vikings. Melvin Jenkins pushed him out of bounds.
And Anthony Carter has had sort of a down year so far in 1991. Chris Carter's gotten the lion's shares of the catches, but working against Jenkins, a little push off by both players. Jenkins getting the worst of that one. And Anthony Carter is the kind of guy that can bust a game loose. He's capable of having a 200-yard game.
92nd straight game with at least 1 reception. Only his 39th catch of the year. Walker, the lone back. Down the ball carrier. Walker dips his head and goes ahead for about 3. We'll bring up a 2nd and 7 with 3:15 left in the half. Vikings trailing by 7.
You know, Herschel Walker is a guy the Detroit Lions want to go east and west. They want Herschel Walker running sideways like there. When Herschel Walker is his most effective is when he gets ahead of steam and he's going from goalpost to goalpost, just running north and south.
Walker on the sidelines, catching his breath. 2nd and 7. Ball at the 48 of Detroit. Play action. Gannon being traced by Hayward. Complete to Jordan, and that ties the all-time reception record of Ahmad Rashad, number 400 for Steve Jordan. A 23-yard pass play.
Steve Jordan coming from the left tight end position. And luckily for Gannon, Jordan comes open here, working right behind the zone there. You see it, Gannon just lobs that thing right over the top of the zone. Jordan's in the perfect position.
Steve Jordan, 10 years in the league out of Brown University.
And Rich Gannon is 9 of 10 and 102 yards so far in this game.
Most guys kick back on the weekends. Jack, on the other hand, good. So how do you feel?
Ready to rock and roll.
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Budweiser.
Tomorrow,
we're sleeping in.
When regular drills hold you back, send in the new Ranger cordless drill from Black & Decker. It goes anywhere to handle all the tough jobs. No strings attached. The new Ranger cordless drill, a powerful gift idea from Black & Decker.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's very important to remember at a time like this, when it's very cold and you've got to get going. Ah, you did remember Xerex Antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
Sony compact disc players. Your ears will tell you. It's not only what you play, it's what you play it on.
And Minnesota here is finally in the first half putting together a drive, getting some consistency. They're not fumbling. They're not bumbling. Here's Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. The brain thrust behind this offense. Well, the big question now for Minnesota, though, is can the Vikings finish this off? Can they finish it off with a score?
They're in excellent field position. Ball at the 25 of Detroit. 1st and 10. Nelson. Halfback option. Throws it. Looking for Anthony Carter. Touchdown, Minnesota. First career pass thrown by Darrin Nelson. 5th touchdown reception on the season for Anthony Carter. Well, Carter had been telling us, Randy, all week, hey, I'm still capable of the big plays. He delivered that time. As Fuad Reveiz comes on to attempt the point after. And we've got a tie ball game here at the Metrodome. Knotted up at 7 apiece. 1:53 left in the first half.
You see Anthony Carter talking on the sideline. Where's the guy that threw you that touchdown pass, Anthony? Where's Darrin Nelson? Because, I mean, this thing sets up well. Watch Nelson start this way, and then it's pass. Gets that ball in his left hand. He throws this thing. This thing has more airtime than Eddie the Eagle Edwards had in the last Winter Olympics. That thing hung up there for 5 seconds. Every defender was trying to get to Carter, but he was so wide open. Look at this.
All right.
Nothing to it. Nothing to it. This quarterback stuff's easy for a Stanford guy.
And you knew that Anthony Carter also knew major league hits coming my way when this ball finally gets here.
And he got a major league hit, too, because as long as that thing stayed up in the air, 3 of the defenders had a chance to get after him. And in the second quarter, look at that offense. First quarter, it was all Detroit. Second quarter, just the opposite.
Well, you asked where was the guy who threw the ball. He finally made his way over.
You know, it's funny seeing a Stanford guy throw the ball after watching that Stanford-Cal game yesterday on TV. Stanford ran the ball 55 times. I mean, I live in the Bay Area. Stanford throwing the ball that many times is totally unheard of with their history of great quarterbacks.
Denny Green showing a little something different.
A little variety.
As Reveiz comes on to kick off to the Lions. Gray from the 2. He's got a seam. He's got to beat the punter. Now Rutland. Well, Jerry Burns said he is the most dangerous return man, and there was clear indication of why he said that. Mel Gray. A 70-yard return by Mel Gray.
Watch this thing open up right through here. Mel Gray is just going to go. You can't coach this. It's like coaching a boxer. You can't coach a guy how to knock a guy out. He either can or he can't. And Mel Gray just has a feel for where those 11 guys are trying to tackle him, and he evades them.
That quickly, the ball at the 27 of Minnesota. 1:44 left in the half. This is Sanders. Sanders outrunning the purple jerseys to the 20. Randy, now that was simply awesome. A 7-yard pickup on a part of Barry Sanders, and he had at least 4 jerseys basically on top of him.
They were all over this guy. And watch what happens here. I mean, this is impressive. We keep talking about Barry Sanders, but what this guy can do will just dumbfound guys who try to watch it and amaze them. Look at it. He got caught inside on that one and bounces it out and still manages to get 7 yards.
They've marked it at the 19, so it'll be 2nd and 2. Incomplete, and there's a flag thrown from the end zone. Intended receiver was Mike Farr.
And I think they're going to get Carl Lee, number 39, for a little tug hold on the back of Mike Farr.
Tom Dooley trying to sort things out down on the field.
How come if only one guy called it, they got to talk to all 5 guys?
Disregard the flag. There is no foul. The ball is uncatchable. Third down.
Well, Wayne's trying to figure that one out. Net result will bring up a 3rd and 2 for the Lions.
And Wayne's argument to that is, hey, my guys can catch anything. That wasn't uncatchable.
Ball at the 19.
4 wide receivers. Look for the motion. No motion is run.
And Sanders on the run, but he's grabbed by Henry Thomas, Mike Merriweather, and company.
And that's the best way to handle Barry Sanders. Get a hit on him and hope 4 or 5 of your friends can come wrap him up and stop him.
The help better come. We'll see if the forward progress enabled him to pick up 1 yard on the play. And if so, it will bring up a 4th and 1.
Well, Detroit will bring kicker Eddie Murray, and they're going to go for 3 points here and take it at the end of the half.
And Minnesota whistles for a timeout. That leaves them with 1. We'll be back in a moment.
This is not a surprise. You knew you were going to have to pick up the tab. But then 6 more people showed up. Not the time to run up against a preset limit on a bank card. That would be embarrassing. But you can handle this. Instead of worrying, you order more wine. The card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Tie ball game, 7-7 as Wayne Fonts sends on Eddie Murray for what will be about a 27-yard field goal. But let me ask you, any possibilities for a trick play here and the run for the first down or the pass?
Well, I think you play the percentages and you kick this field goal, you take your 3 points. If you go for it on 4th and you don't get it with 1:07, let's say there's a minute left when they get the ball back, Minnesota's very capable of striking quickly and putting you on the bottom end of the score at the half.
It's up. And it's good. So Murray with a 37-yard field goal and a 10-7 lead.
More valuable than most, this umbrella. 50% of the Fortune 500 carry it for their insurance and investment needs. Open in case you want quality and service the traveler's way. You're better off under the umbrella.
Give your car better pickup with the Black & Decker Car Vac Plus. The most powerful car vacuum made. The Black & Decker Car Vac Plus leaves everything else in the dust.
So Wayne Fonts did play the percentages. Lions on top 10-7. Jerry Burns' squad with 1 timeout remaining. Detroit with 2. And 1:03 left in the half.
Plenty of time for Jerry Burns and the Minnesota Vikings to move down this field. They'll get the ball back with just a little bit under a minute left when their offense takes the field.
Coming up on the NFL Today Dockers halftime report, Greg and Terry will have all the scores, highlights, and latest information from around the league. Murray kicking off to the Vikings. And it will be Walker again from the 7. And Walker still on his feet. Finally tackled by Nico Noga. So Minnesota will take over with 56 seconds left in the first half of play. Ball marked at their own 20. Vikings with 1 timeout remaining.
The critical thing here for the Detroit Lions is, can they continue to get pressure on Rich Gannon? Minnesota was able to run the ball, use a few trick plays, little screens, and move the ball down the field last time. But can they get this thing? Can they get after Gannon with the pass rush?
First and 10. Gannon. And Gannon heads nowhere as Ray Crockett leads the Pride of Lions. And Randy, that's kind of a head scratcher in terms of that play.
Well, if that wasn't a broken play, it's a heck of a way to run out the clock.
Well, a loss of 2 on the play, and a dangerous one at that.
Got to get this ball to Chris or Anthony Carter. One of the Carter guys has to get a pass here.
Well, they go to Chris this time. And Chris up to the 22. 35 seconds left in the first half of play. Chris Carter, I loved your comment. And you said, boy, what a $100 acquisition on the part of the Vikings.
You know, people talk about the Herschel Walker trade and how terrible that was here. They gave up too much. They didn't get this. Just think, ladies and gentlemen, what the Minnesota Vikings got for $100 this year. They got their leading receiver. He's having a career year.
Came into the game with 56 catches. 3rd and 7. And it's complete to Nelson. And Nelson has the first down. Trying to get out of bounds. Does not. William White keeps him inbounds, so Minnesota will have to burn off its last timeout with 22 seconds left.
And
12 yards picked up on a play by Nelson.
And they hesitated there, James, and lost 3 or 4 seconds. Little indecision after Nelson went down. They should have immediately had a plan to call that timeout. Taking a look at it, Nelson's been a big factor coming in here late in the first half. He's just that change of pace guy. We've mentioned that he's given Detroit problems. He's had a few key screens, good carries, and a touchdown pass so far. And obviously, you can see the Lions have a little bit of a problem making this tackle. There's the hesitation. Anthony Carter knows he wants a timeout, but unfortunately, there's no officials around him.
We talked with Jerry Burns about his philosophy of coaching, whether he was a real hands-on guy or one who delegates responsibility, and he had an interesting response.
Great answer. Jerry Burns tells us, you know, guys, I look at the game plan on offense. I look at the game plan on defense. I look at the game plan on special teams. I'm in charge of atmosphere around here. I'm on the sideline. I'm in charge of atmosphere. I make sure everybody's happy. They get their water. They got their towels. You know, everybody's smiling.
He and John Robinson of the Rams believe in delegating responsibility. 1st and 10, ball at the 34, 22 seconds left. 4 wideouts in for the Vikings. And Gannon unloads it quickly, and it's complete to Chris Carter for a first down across midfield.
And throwing the ball on these patterns to the corners and out of bounds, this is where they need to do. You see the leading receivers in the NFC. Carter now has 57 catches, 58 catches. You get this situation, you throw the ball out of bounds. 17 seconds left. They can get 3 plays in before they try to kick a field goal if they get close enough. And they're about 20 yards away from field goal range right now.
Fuad Reveiz' longest of the season, a 49-yard field goal. Gannon pumps. Still the time, no time now as he's sacked. Lawrence Pete.
And that's not a timeout, ladies and gentlemen. They stopped the clock temporarily here in the last 2 minutes on a quarterback sack.
And it will start with the referee's motion, and there it is. 4th sack of the afternoon for the Lions. So Rich Gannon smartly Throw it in the ground. Stop the clock with 9 seconds left in the half. Ball will be marked at the 44 of Minnesota. Well, the Lions came out with a roar, sparked early, played well, took a 7-0 lead. Vikings finally get on the scoreboard with the halfback option. Darrin Nelson pass to Anthony Carter.
This is pretty much what we really thought was going to happen, James. This is a game that's going to go right down to the end of the fourth quarter. This will not be a game that gets out of hand. I think it's something that's going to stay close the entire way.
And the other score came on a 37-yard field goal by Murray, and that accounts for the scoring. 10-7, Lions lead.
Saw Tom Dooley motioning for them to pump that 25-second clock back up.
And there is Herman Moore, the wide receiver. Well, the Lions in playing defense.
This is the prevent of the prevent. You get your guy that can jump the best back there and knock anything down.
And Herman Moore was on top of it as well to tip it. Terry Taylor looked to be the man who intercepted it, but it's all for naught now, as that's the end of the first half. Terry Taylor at 5'10", 191 comes down with the interception, as opposed to the much taller Herman Moore at 6'3". 10-7 lead at half, Detroit.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Black & Decker, the source of powerful gift ideas. And by Sony, where imagination and innovation create the ultimate in sight and sound. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota. Toyota, I love what you do for me. The ingenious products from Magnavox, they're smart, very smart. Arid XX Antiperspirant helps keep you extra, extra dry. And by GTE, at GTE, the power is on.
Talk about wintertime fun in Minnesota. Well, a little bit of fun for Wayne Fontes, only a 3-point lead. But do you think that kid is out there on 35W somewhere?
You mean that was the kindergarten luge clinic they have here in Minnesota every November?
You and I were getting our practice announce in for the Winter Olympics out there.
That's right.
Wayne Fontes and Jerry Burns. Playoff implications for both in this game, as we mentioned at the top. Detroit coming into the game with a 7-4 mark, trying to win more than 7 games this year, and that will be only the 4th time in 20 years that the team has done such. Minnesota with 6-6, and Randy, they're in a cluster of teams trying to get there. This is a must game for Minnesota.
Well, if Minnesota doesn't win this, they will not be in the playoffs. Detroit is still thinking division title. They're in that wild card scramble, but this NFC Central division is not settled.
Fuad Reveiz kicking off for the Vikings. Dozier across the 10, across the 20, Dozier. And DJ Dozier finally down near the 40-yard line. The Lions with a 37-yard return by DJ Dozier. And speaking of the Lions' schedule the rest of the way, not an easy schedule.
And what makes this game so critical is here you got Chicago. That's a tough one. You got Buffalo here, but sandwiched in between are Green Bay and the Jets. Are 2 games they have every opportunity to win. They win this one, and they win those 2. You know, you're looking at 11-5 here.
1st and 10 from the 40. Kramer throws it complete to Perryman for the first down. Good-looking pass play that time. But we saw Detroit's schedule. The Vikings have an easy one.
You know what the big thing that jumps out here? 2 things. The bye and 7 wins between those 3 teams. So Minnesota, they can get by the Detroit Lions. It's not easy. It never is in the league, but it's a lot easier than Wayne Fontes and the Lions have it.
19-yard pass play brings up 1st and 10 from the 42.
It's a pass.
And it is incomplete, thrown in the direction of Mike Farr. Now, Randy, going back to that schedule, you said the 2 things that jump out at you, one of those being the bye. Why the bye?
Well, I think the bye comes at a bad time for Minnesota. Minnesota is now at 6-6. This could be a very pivotal game for Minnesota. They win this, they're going to have a lot of momentum. Minnesota's made the decision. They're going to give, Jerry Burns is going to give his team all next week off. After this game, they come in tomorrow, and then they don't come back again till next Monday. Talk about a momentum killer. It could be something to really come back to haunt them.
A lot of the veterans want to keep it going, but they have no choice. 2nd and 10. This should be a pass with Mike Farr in motion. Instead, they go on the ground. This is Barry Sanders, and Sanders juking his way. Looks like enough for the first down. 12 yards picked up on the play. Now, Randy, in terms of the tendency, let's take a look at how we've been keeping track.
That's right. 14 times that wide receiver's gone in motion. 10 of those times have been passed, so they've deviated a little bit from their tendencies, but 2 of those 10 times have been this draw play to Barry Sanders.
And Sanders has carried 10 times on the afternoon for 72 yards. And the umpire is stopping the action as Minnesota calls a timeout. So the Vikings burn off one of their 3. They are left with 2. And we'll be back after this break.
It's been almost 2 hours.
Tom.
He was just going to the store, wasn't he?
You know Kevin.
He does this every time. Well, he's your brother.
Well, you gave him the keys.
The Toyota Celica, rated by brothers-in-law everywhere as their favorite car to borrow.
I think I see headlights.
You know what's smart? This Magnavox digital CD shelf system that's incredibly powerful, compact, but what's really smart is this Magnavox 8mm Easy Cam that weighs less than 2 pounds. But what's really brilliant is this 13-inch TV with a built-in VCR. But what's ingenious is this 31-inch with a smart window that lets you see other channels and swap the picture. You know what's smart? This Magnavox digital Not him CD... again. Go away.
The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart.
Some people perspire.
We sweat.
You need Arid Double X protection to help keep you extra dry. And look, it's the only leading solid that doesn't leave a white, flaky mess.
Arid Double X helps keep us extra
dry.
The Black & Decker Workmate. About all it can't help you do is clean up. But at least it gets out of your way, and it's a powerful gift idea.
Coming up next, Greg Norman hosts the Shark Shootout benefiting Ronald McDonald Children's Charities as an elite field of golfers compete in a best ball alternate shot and scramble format at Sherwood Country Club in Thousand Oaks, California. And I think the music gives some indication of how serious it is as you take a look at the leaderboard after 2 rounds. Look who's in 3rd place, the pairing in 3rd.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not much of a hunt right now because Pertzer's out ahead. You got Norman and Jack Nicklaus. Best of buddies at 10 under. That's a great format. Win some money for a good charity, go out and have fun with your friends.
1st and 10. Trips left formation. Complete to Perryman, and Perryman picked up 4 on the play.
You saw another one of the intricacies of this 4 wide receiver offense. I almost call it the run and shoot, but it really isn't the run and shoot anymore. They've kind of expanded on it. Perryman working inside number 80. Little play action almost to Barry Sanders, and just a quick little flip. With 3 wide receivers over there, it's very difficult for Carl Lee and the rest of the defensive backs of the Minnesota Vikings to focus on any one wide receiver.
2nd and 6. Roman Ford, number 69, is an eligible receiver on this play. Incomplete. Robert Clark couldn't hold on to it. Pass a little low. Dallas ahead of Washington. Well, it's amazing. Some teams, Randy, just seem to have difficulty with one other particular team. With Minnesota, it's Green Bay. With Washington, it's Dallas, etc., etc.
And it doesn't help the fact that now Dallas has players like Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith, and especially Aikman. Aikman is the big difference there in Dallas. He is a real leader and a real fighter.
He's got some weapons in Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith as well. 1 of 6 on 3rd down conversions for the Lions. Let's see what they do here. Under pressure, Kramer gets rid of it, and it's complete to Perryman. And Perryman with the first down inside the 5. It'll be marked at about the 5. Boy, what an alert look and quick move on the part of Kramer. 21 yards picked up on that play.
And Minnesota took a big gamble there, going for a blitz with Audrey McMillan coming in, and they just went for it all. And Kramer alertly, instead of staying where he was supposed to be, watch everybody coming after him. Dolman standing up on the right, and here comes the blitz. They're bringing the whole kitchen sink after him. There's McMillan, 26, and he alertly just flips this thing out there, and Perryman beats Lee, who was covering him one-on-one.
Perryman, 5 catches for 66 yards. First and goal. Ball at the 5. And DJ Dozier does a magnificent job just to get back to the line of scrimmage. Al Noga on the tackle. DJ Dozier spent 4 seasons here with the Minnesota Vikings, 6 feet, 205 pounds, and he would like nothing better.
And this is the part of the field I think Minnesota puts himself at a bit of a disadvantage because of the size of their defensive linemen. They are not very big. They have to slant. They have to attack and use their quickness. And frankly, they can be out-muscled down here in the goal line area.
Second and goal at the 5. Farr in motion. Incomplete. Great play by Reggie Rutland as he knocked the ball away, intended for Willie Green.
And this is one of those plays of this 4-wide receiver offense. Watch this lane open up right here for Eric Kramer to throw through. Look at that lane that's open, wide open in the offense. And Rutland, a fine play. The only chance Rutland had was to dive in at the last minute and knock this one away. It's 3rd and 5.
3rd and goal from the 5. Kramer. Incomplete to Robert Clark. And no flag on the play. Todd Scott, the rookie out of Southwest Louisiana, providing the tight coverage.
And that was purely a timing type of a pattern. That was either going to be there for Wayne Fonts in Detroit or it wasn't going to be. And Todd Scott does a good job of covering. There's nothing fancy here. It's just 1, 2, 3, flip it. Now watch the coverage. Scott's right there, and he's all over Robert Clark.
This will be a 23-yard field goal attempt by Eddie Murray. And it hits the goalpost. And it hits the upright, so Detroit will come away empty and still nursing a 3-point lead.
You bought a what? For a dog? Well, it's your dog. It's your life. The card. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Somehow, people have gotten the idea the new Toyota Paseo is a wildly exciting, sporty coupe. The Paseo is a practical, sensible car. Okay, so it has some muscle. And a low starting price could be a big turn-on. And sure, you're going to be instantly popular. That's no reason to do something impulsive. Think it over. The all-new Paseo. A very practical car. From Toyota.
Imagination, creation, application. At GTE, we know the power of people. At GTE, that power becomes an operator's voice when you need it most. Your company's telecommunications system, a nightlight for your child. One-to-one, person-to-person, GTE to you. It's the power of the human touch. And at GTE, the power is on.
Join me, Greg Norman, as I host the world's top golfers in the final round of the Shark Shootout. It's all today on CBS Sports.
So that missed 23-yard field goal attempt by Eddie Murray keeps Detroit ahead only by 3. 11:44 left in the third period of play.
And in that game, Jeff Hostetler's left the game on a stretcher, and Phil Simms is in at quarterback for the Giants.
1st and 10, Minnesota, ball at the 20. Gannon, complete to Carter. Chris Carter at the 30, and that should be enough for the first down. As a matter of fact, 11 yards picked up on a play, and there's still a Detroit player down on the field.
And we talked about Troy Aikman earlier, about what a great asset it is for Dallas. Troy Aikman is out of the game with a hurt ankle.
It looks like Ray Crockett, the third-year player out of Baylor.
And there was quite a few shots being taken at the very end of this play. You'll see bodies diving all over the place when it comes down to the tackle. Crockett's on the bottom of that pile, being hit and bent over.
We had an awful lot of fun talking with Crockett last night. He was talking about his track days in high school and college and how his sister teases him a lot because he's picked up so much weight right now. Let's hope that everything is okay there. We'll get a status report when we come back.
Amore, baciami, baciami, baciami. E forte stringimi, stringimi, stringimi. Mi piace stare racchiusa in te nel tuo tepore.
Hey, save some room.
No, you sure you didn't do any of this?
I love to watch him cook.
That looks good. Has he ever done this before?
Hey, look, why don't you guys go pick out a good wine? Come on, you know where it is. Out of the kitchen.
Oh, how about this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'll be great with the fish.
Good, let's do it.
Nothing brings out the flavor of today's cooking like a good Sauvignon Blanc.
Philip, you can cook for me anytime.
Well, as long as you pick the wine.
Ernest and Julio Gallo present a very special Sauvignon Blanc. It's time for a change to Gallo.
Because there's a man planning his retirement. Because there's a family hoping to send their kids to college. Because every investor is different, with dreams all their own, Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time.
The Black & Decker Air Station. It has all the pressure you need to inflate anything. Fast. The Black & Decker Air Station. Always at your service.
The most popular film in movie history comes to television.
Where are you from?
Steven Spielberg's E.T. Thanksgiving on CBS.
Ray Crockett left the field under his own power. Bruised ribs, the report from the field, should return. 1st and 10, Minnesota. Ball at its own 31, 11:15 left in the third. This is Terry Allen. And Allen across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. We'll see where they mark it. 5 yards picked up on the play.
You see Anthony Carter there on the sideline was involved in that play with Ray Crockett. He was the gentleman that caught the ball. And Carter is reporting that he's got a little strained neck. They're not sure exactly how much more he'll play. And Eddie Murray missed that field goal inside the 30. It was the first one Eddie Murray has missed inside 30 yards since 1986.
2nd and 5. Chris Carter in motion. The handoff to Herschel Walker. And Walker pile driving his way ahead for 4 yards on the play.
You know, James, before we get too far away from the missed field goal and the opportunity Detroit had, I got to really question, how in the world do you get 1st and 5 on the 5, you're the Detroit Lions, and you don't give the ball at least once to Barry Sanders down there?
The franchise
did not give him the ball. You got to give Barry Sanders an opportunity to be your superstar, especially in those critical scoring opportunities.
And Wayne Fonts had made it pretty clear that Barry Sanders would be run 20, 25, 30 times a game if possible. Certainly you would have thought there. Craig Wolfman, the eligible receiver on this play. excellent hustle, good read on the part of Chris Spielman.
And Randall McDaniel, the left offensive guard, was lined up in the fullback position in the backfield. And Chris Spielman comes unmolested over the area where McDaniel was over the left guard. Nobody touches him. He gets right in here for an easy one. Look at Spielman right in here. Watch him come through here. I don't know if anybody touches him. Nobody there. Nobody even bothers even touching Chris Spielman. You got to block a guy that's a Pro Bowl. You got to block anybody, but especially a guy that's a Pro Bowl.
Newsom. Mel Gray back to receive from the 26. Gray runs into his own man, but still on his feet and gets some positive yardage out of it. Mel Gray taking it up to about the 42-yard line.
And both Mel Gray and Barry Sanders are the definition of the old, it ain't over till it's over. And it ain't over till you tackle these guys and get these guys down. Because Mel Gray and Barry Sanders can bust things loose when they look the worst.
38-yard punt, 15-yard return. And don't forget, football involving these guys and these guys coming up Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, special edition of the NFL Today. It all gets started at 12 noon, and it'll be the Bears and the Lions. And back to live action here. 4 wideouts. Barry Sanders, the ball carrier. And good contain on the backside for that cutback. Right now, let's cut back to New York and Greg.
All right, James, in Tampa, Rodney Hampton of the Giants goes 5 yards for a touchdown. The Giants lead 14-7, but they've lost 4 starters today, including quarterback Jeff Hostetler to injury. Phil Simms is in charge now in the 3rd quarter. James?
All right, Greg, and certainly that's the man most New Yorkers wanted at the helm anyway, Phil Simms.
Yeah, I think it's very unfair to Hostetler. Hostetler's having a good year statistically. You know, one guy can only do so much, especially in a conservative offense like the New York Giants.
And what's fair in the world of fans? On 2nd down, Kramer throws it to Sanders, and Sanders tripped but still on his feet and gets across midfield near the 1st down. Let's see where they mark it. He needed to get to the 48.
I think he got it, James. And Barry Sanders, you're going to be treated to another highlight film action. Watch Barry come out here and watch him go against Barry, number 50, the linebacker. Watch this. One hand down. You just saw something. There's only one running back can do that in the NFL. That's run sideways, get tripped, put your hand down, and go full speed in the other direction.
Well, Barry Sanders did not get a favorable mark that time. So it'll be 3rd and inches. Sanders, the lone back. Far in motion. Kramer complete for the 1st down to Barry Sanders.
Well, they're very lucky there. They got that one over the middle to Sanders because there's a lot of traffic in there.
Randy, you and I talked at the top again about tendencies on a part of Detroit whenever they have the 4 wide receiver set and have one of the receivers in motion. More often than not, it will indicate pass. 15 times that's taken place where they have passed. 5 times they've run it.
So out of 20 attempts right now, they're offering about 75% pass. This should be a pass, 4 wide, receiver in motion.
And it is on 1st and 10. Kramer pumping, being chased by Clark, now by Jimmy Williams, and is trapped. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Willie Green.
You know, and that's a smart move by Kramer right there, flipping that thing towards the receiver, because honestly, they really seem to be cracking down on throwing the ball away on quarterbacks. I bet if he'd have thrown that thing about 10 feet off the ground and chunked it out of bounds, they'd have called grounding the ball right here, because he was doing this to avoid a sack. Jimmy Williams just gets an arm on that 58, just ticks this thing, and that's why this ball is incomplete. Otherwise, I think he'd have got it to Green.
10 of 20 for 100 yards on the afternoon for Eric Kramer. The draw to Sanders, and Sanders 1st down.
Touchdown.
He's going to pay dirt. Touchdown, Detroit. Barry Sanders, 45-yard scamper.
And that's just how quick it can happen when this guy carries the ball against you. Wayne's hunting him down. Wayne's going to find him. He's got him. Puts the Fonts hug on him and sends him to the bench to get his water and a little rest. Minnesota's biggest mistake, they didn't get him early. They have their chances. Barry gets faked out again. You're not going to catch this guy once he gets a smell of that goal line.
And the point after is good. Lions on top by the score of 17-7, thanks to a 45-yard run by that man, Sanders.
If one word were to characterize the all-new Toyota Camry, it's change. Starting with a more powerful 185 horsepower V6. We've also changed the suspension for improved stability and more responsive handling. And we even changed something called the camber angle on our front wheels for greater control, because we're not the only ones making changes. The all-new 1992 Toyota Camry. We just couldn't leave well enough alone.
For McDonald's McLean Deluxe, Kevin Green.
I know what you're thinking. Who? Story of my life. You won't see me in a Diet Coke commercial. You just don't get famous by being 91. Take McLean Deluxe. It's 91% fat-free, but all people talk about is its big burger taste. No one remembers 91.
Hey, you! Out of the locker room!
McLean Deluxe, unforgettable taste at McDonald's today.
Sorry, Green. Green. I gotta write that down.
Did you tell your boss you're quitting?
No, I'm telling him on Monday.
Got any plans yet?
A few.
No celebrity spokesman.
I'm opening a restaurant.
No beach volleyball games.
How about another Heineken?
No lengthy description of the brewing process. None of that is what made Heineken the #1 imported beer in America.
You got that steady paycheck? Oh, yeah. I got a few bucks put away.
So you want to own a restaurant?
No, what I really want to do is be a relief pitcher.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
The 63,000 plus here at the Metrodome certainly have to appreciate the running skills of one Barry Sanders, who's helped the Lions to get out in front 17-7 over Minnesota. 6:51 left in a third. Sanders now with 12 touchdowns on the year to take the NFC lead.
And he's only rushed against the Vikings twice for 100 yards in his 6 games against them, both this year.
He's got 118 today. Walker across the 20, wrapped up by Victor Jones. Well, Barry Sanders runs with a clean jersey. Everything's legal. You just have to grab him.
And this is almost like a sprint out of the box. He'll go here, one little blip right about here, and then it's just a sprint to the sideline. The one little blip is trying to put a move on Ray Berry, the linebacker. Watch this. Little move, but that's it. Goodbye. Sorry. Later.
Chuck Schmidt, the executive vice president for the Lions organization, made it a point to say Barry will not be running with silicone on his jerseys.
He doesn't need it.
And with plenty of time, looking for Chris Carter, and it's intercepted by Ray Crockett. 4th interception of the season for Crockett. Only the 9th of the year for the Lions.
That's the fourth turnover of this game for the Minnesota Vikings. Here we'll see Crockett working against Chris Carter. This ball was just a little overthrown. Carter's working to get open, but from here on out, Crockett's the receiver, Carter's the defender, and he gets about a C- as a defender. And the guy that threw it, as soon as he threw it, he had to be hoping, Chris, please knock that down, because that's not a good pass.
With 6:35 left in the third period to play. Detroit 1st and 10 from its own 47. Sanders. Boy, how in the world does he find daylight with such a little hole, and he gets up near the first down marker. 9 yards picked up on a play by Barry Sanders. You know, Wiggin made a great comment when he was comparing Barry to how well built he was.
Well, Paul Wiggins said they had film clips where it looked like Barry Sanders was like 6 inches off the ground. The guy was right down there and running. I mean, this guy could run through Venetian blinds and not touch a blind.
2nd and 1. And who else? Sanders. It's a first down and about 8 extra yards down near the 33.
Nothing too fancy about this one here. There's draws, there's sprint draws, there's all kinds of runs. Not this time with Barry Sanders. It's Barry right through here. Not too much style. It's just Eric Sanders, right tackle. You get your guy. Delafour, you get your guy. Glover, you get your guy. And Barry is your guy.
And certainly the Lions offensive line playing like they're playing for Mike Utley. 1st and 10, ball at the 33. Kramer, ball batted down by Jimmy Williams. And Jimmy Williams playing a nice game, greeting his old teammates. Jimmy said he does, in fact, keep in contact with a lot of the ex-Lions, especially William White.
As long as when you're there that long, you're in a place as long as Jimmy Williams was, you can't just cut things off and go somewhere else. A lot of friends, a lot of family. You have kids, they have friends.
One of the finest people in the league indeed. 10th year out of Nebraska. 2nd and 10 from the 33. 5:09 remaining in the 3rd. Kramer, quick out to Green, and Green trying to get near that 1st down marker. He looks to be about a half a foot shy. Rutland, Lee and company over there. 9 yards picked up on a play.
You know, I wonder really if the Minnesota Vikings coaches know about this thing with the motion out of the 4 wides. Because it's very, very dominant. And when they're not throwing the ball, they're running draws. You know, 4 of those things are draws. Out of those 17 passes, 22 attempts, 17 passes, 5 draws.
We'll call it 3rd and 1 as Kramer gets rid of it quickly. And it looked to be enough for the 1st down to Mike Farr. They're giving him forward progress. The fans here do not like it. And I'm going to tell you, Kramer did an excellent job to get rid of that ball as he felt the heat coming from his backside.
Well, he was immediately knocked back right at catch. There was contact, and he's forced back. But we'll see it best from this angle. Kramer's going to flip this thing out here. He's got it. He's right at the marker or just in front of it. And McMillan knocks him back. Good spot.
Nice one-handed snag by Mike Farr, who caught his first touchdown pass of his career against the Rams last week. 1st and 10, ball at the 23. Here comes Merriweather. He gets rid of it to Sanders. Hey, folks, look out. And Sanders tackled by Todd Scott at about the 8. And there's a flag on a play, and Jimmy Williams, all on top of Kramer's got to be there.
Little frustration involved there in the case of Jimmy Williams for roughing Eric Kramer.
We have a personal foul, roughing the passer, a blow to the head, number 58 defense, 1st down.
Well, we mentioned earlier he's a real nice guy, but nice guys don't always do too well on a football field. You got to have a little nasty streak into you. And he comes through with that left paw. He didn't have to do that. He did not have to push off into the face. And this puts Detroit right down there in that territory where they didn't give it to Barry early.
1st and goal from the 4. Roman Fortin, the eligible receiver. This is Barry Sanders. Touchdown, Detroit. 3rd touchdown of the afternoon for Barry Sanders. And Wayne Fonts must have heard you before about how in the world can he not run Sanders from that close?
There's Wayne. He's going to keep his guys fired up. The last thing he wants them to do is let down. But, you know, we said you got to give it to Barry. Give it to Barry. He should be tackled right here by Ray Barry. Once again, Ray Barry can't get him. Solomon Wilcox, 41, can't get him. Touchdown number 3.
As Eddie Murray comes on to attempt the point after. And it's good as the Lions continue to expand the lead.
Watch this low to the ground built Volvo 4-wheel drive Barry Sanders run. Full speed left, stop, go. You're not going to tackle him, forget it. If you're not going to drive through and you're not going to wrap him up, you shouldn't even bother with this guy.
Barry Sanders, 15 carries for 142 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Randy, still the same humble guy that we knew from year one, although he is a tad bit more outgoing.
He's a lot more outgoing. Was, you know, busting my chops a little bit about my hairstyle, other things like that. But
well, he's always been observant now.
If I'm Wayne Fontes, I'm on my guys hard right now. I'm reminding them, guys, we were ahead of this team 20-3 in our joint earlier this year. We're ahead 24-7 here. We're within 3 touchdowns right now of getting on the other end of that situation. So we've got to maintain our intensity.